Let's talk about the holding company concept. Something that I really got deep into about 2017. Currently, I've had I'm currently on my third holding company. And this has been the best holding company because I understand the policies, the techniques of the holding company setup. Now, since I've been doing YouTube, I've always had 1 to 2, 3 businesses. Currently, I have a YouTube business, an online course business, jewelry business number 1, jewelry business number 2. So those are the 4 businesses going. Now, this year, I'm going to get back in the storage auction business. Let's see, March, April, probably by May, I'll be back in the storage auction business. So that will be YouTube business, online course business, Whatnot Business 1, Whatnot Business 2, and storage auctions. So by May, I'll have 5 business prospects set up. And the holding company makes the best situation possible for setting up all these companies. Because here's the thing, and this is savage money, savage finance over here. So we're about aggressively building cash revenue, cash flowing streams. So YouTube companies cash flows, online course company cash flows. Now jewelry company number 1, jewelry company number 2, they're not profitable yet. I'm building capacity. Now, interesting thing about the storage auction business. All right, for the people who cannot afford the courses, we have a lot of books to help you get in the money flow. We have books on YouTube, we have books on lawsuits, we have books on investings, we have books on making money, we have books, all kinds of books. We have books about the secrets of a lasting marriage, we have books about how to build wealth, we have books about sales, we have books about money management. We have a lot of books for you, and you can get them each and every day over there at the portal. Links are below. The way that I plan on doing it this time is very, very different from the way I did it last time. Number 1, I'm going to buy a 25-foot truck and a 16-foot truck, an Isuzu NPR truck. Get a warehouse and get a load crew and get a sorting crew and get pricing people in the warehouse. Because essentially this setup would allow me to buy, say, 10, 15 units per week. Because I could buy them online, send someone to go pick them up, bring them to the warehouse, have other people sort it. So my capacity dramatically increases. Literally, if I bought 15 units in 1 week, that's pretty much what I used to buy all month long. So it's going to be extremely profitable, and there's going to be a lot of different revenue streams that'll come out of that storage auction bucket. Number 1, Facebook Marketplace sales. This is why we have the Isuzu NPR, because I've learned this trick years and years ago. When you sell furniture, a washer, a dryer, a refrigerator or something, if you include delivery, it makes the sale much better. Unless they're Mexican. If they're Mexican or Spanish, they always know somebody with a truck and the load crew. But typically, we will use Facebook Marketplace, we'll use Craigslist, still use Craigslist, and then we will use eBay, Amazon, and Whatnot. So what I see, depending upon which one of those revenue streams is the strongest, is where most of the stuff that can go. Like this is something I did years and years ago. I would buy a storage unit for maybe $20, $30, and it had 400 pieces of stuff in there, right? I put all 400 on eBay, and I would turn that $10, $20 into $1,000 or $2,000. So with Whatnot, depending on what we get, we can run huge, once again, we have to get there first before I can actually say what we're going to do, because it all depends upon the merchandise. But clothing, this is something that's going to be massive. When you get in the storage auction business, you get a ton of clothing, literally a ton of clothing. I mean, a massive amount of clothing, shoes, toys, kid stuff. You get a ton of that stuff. Now, years and years ago, we're getting so many clothes that I took 4,000 square feet out of my 10,000 square foot warehouse and literally just these big old boxes and dumped all the clothes and stuff in there and sold a lot of stuff for $1. And those dollar sales, I remember one weekend we did $12,000 in dollar sales. We had a lot of good units. The boxes were literally flowing out. And that day, the boxes, some boxes were empty, half empty, because like with the Hispanics, they would come in, they find the polos, and they start pulling out the polos, and literally they would bag up clothes and say, here's $100, here's $200. So this time I will not have a, I don't know. Because I have staff and a crew, I can do what's called a pop-up flea market, depending upon jurisdictions. I don't know where we would have this pop-up flea market. I would have to do some more research on that. But the storage auction business, like I used to sell the gold. I used to sell anywhere from $500 to $6,000 in gold. So you get jewelry, you get so many things. But that's going to be the most profitable revenue stream. And then there's other things that I'm going to get into. So holding company makes this seamless because essentially you have all of these revenue streams, revenue stream 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? All of the profits push up to the holding company, and the holding company gets to chunk all that money together as one singular profit. Now, there's ways you can do this. Now, this is how I'm going to do this one. I'm going to put myself on salary, and it's going to be 3 stages of salary. First stage, $150,000, about 3 months. Second stage, $250,000, about 3 months. Third stage, $350,000, about 3 months. And the final stage is going to be $500,000. And that's where I'm going to top out, because that's a way for me to get money out of the company and keep my taxes low. Because essentially, I'm going to turn my holding company into a C Corp. And the C Corp would be taxed at 21%. Now, this is one of the ways that I can pull money out of the holding company. Remember, I got a $500,000 salary, right? I could take a loan and do an interest-only payment loan for 30 years and then have a balloon payment 30 years in the future. That's a way for me to get money out of my holding company tax-free. That's how I'm going to, because if I were to, like, let's say me and my boo get married and I want to buy us a house, and if I pull the money out as the dividend, it just depends. We'll have to do the math, because the math on the dividend will be like 20%. So if I pulled, I would have to, like, say the house is like 2 or 3 million. I would have to pull out enough to have that 2 or 3 million, then enough to cover the taxes that will be owed on that money. So that's how I'm going to do it. Now, the reason that I'm going to do it this way is the holding company is going to become the bank. Now, what do I mean the bank? My goal is 2027 to start buying apartment complexes. So I've got all of 2026 to get this set up. My goal is to hit $3 million a month in profit by December. I do that by December, I'll be good to go for 2027. Because like with $3 million in profit, paying 21%, that'll leave us like 2.3, almost 2.4 million per month to invest in real estate. Now, ideally, if I wanted to do it this way, I could take that money and loan it to the real estate company. And literally, I could go out, like if I had 2.4 million, I could literally go out and buy $500,000 houses and rent them out. And I'm not going to do that, because the math on that is just, because you own the house, you have the equity, you own the house. But, 5 houses, rent them out at $2,000 a piece. That's 10. That's like $12,000. I would rather buy an apartment complex and have 100 to 150 units, and then play the arbitrage game where we put down, say, 6 million, and then we borrow 9 million. And once it's all said and done, after servicing debt and paying everyone back, the apartment complex cash flows at $100,000 per month. I would rather have 12 of those than own 12 houses, because the cash flow works much better. And the apartments, they just keep going up in value. Rent just keeps going up. And this becomes an institutional asset. So this is why I am playing the holding company game, because just like the Porsche, like I saw the Porsche, I wanted a Porsche years ago, and I prepared myself to put myself in a position where I could get the Porsche and pay cash for it. And I don't have to pay cash for the apartment complex to cash flow. I just need to put a big enough down payment to make sure that I cash flow and have enough money to service my debt. So this is the power of a holding company. And one of the things that I think is going to be hard for people to understand is, like, right now, once again, I have the YouTube company, I have the online course company, jewelry, and then storage auctions, right? Now that's going to be May, June. And then once that stabilizes, and what do I mean by stabilizes, we're making, let's say we're doing $500,000 a month profit. We're at 21%, 100,000 in taxes, that's 400,000. Well, actually, I could take that money and invest it in the company. So it really depends, but the sixth company is going to be selling 14 karat gold. And I'm going to need to be able to go in there and buy $50,000 to $100,000 worth of gold at one time. So that's the reason I need the businesses to cash flow to give me the money to create this additional revenue cycle. Now, I know you're like, okay, you're going to have all these companies. How are you going to manage this? Right now, my jewelry company is working and making money, and I'm not there. I'm building my companies to run without me or to have minimum input from me. Like right now, if I wasn't filming my phone, I could show you right now my jewelry company is making money and I'm at home making YouTube videos. So once I set up the storage auction thing, I'll have to be there to buy the units, but load crew, sorters and stuff, all that happens without me. And if it goes the way that I want to, we'll be open 7 days a week. And we may be running a whatnot auction every day. It just depends on what we get. Because, you know, storage auctions are really, really intriguing in terms of what you can get. Because you can get a bunch of business stuff. Like years and years ago, I used to clean up on office furniture. I would clean up on office furniture because no one would buy it. I mean, literally, I remember I was at Public Storage up in Roswell, and there was 1, 2, 3 units full of not brand new office furniture, but heavy chunk. I got those units for free because he was like, anyone bid? And I just sat there, put my hands behind my back and just started whistling and just waited. And then I said, you know, if you give it to me, I'll take it. I made one phone call, sold that shit for $25,000 and didn't have to move it. So understand, knowledge is everything. Knowledge is a huge, huge part of this. But essentially what we're going to do, and this is something that's not in the Royal Prince program. This is part of the King program. The King program will teach you how to set up multiple businesses so you can go ahead and create multiple revenue streams. Like, people keep saying assets and liabilities. And to me, the average person doesn't have enough money to buy an asset that will throw off the cash flow for you. Like, once again, I've told you my plan, right? So I have 12 apartment complexes printing up 1.2 million a month. That's plenty of cash flow. I could do a lot of different things with that. Literally, I could buy a Porsche 911 Turbo S every month and pay cash for it. Every month. So, because I have to do the math, because the depreciation, because that will do about 14 million a year in cash flow profit. But my depreciation, I'm kind of estimating, my depreciation will like take half that away. So I would only be paying taxes on 7 million, but I'm getting 14. So literally 7 million is not even being taxed. And that's how you play this game. Because once again, if you're listening to me, you understand that I am creating the facility to create the income to buy those type of assets. Because, like, you know, once again, you know, people sit down and say, like, you need to buy assets that cash flow. The average American doesn't have the cash. I mean, most of America makes, 80% of America makes $45,000 to $50,000 a year. 42 to 50, that's 80% of America. They just don't have the cash. I don't know where people think that Americans are going to get this money to buy these cash flowing assets. And then there's her name is Cody Sanchez, and she talks about business owners selling their businesses. I don't really know about that, because everyone that I know that has a business that's profitable, they're not trying to sell it. I got one friend, this is something he did that was really, really kind of good. I thought it was interesting. He intentionally married a young woman and got her pregnant. I believe he was 68 at the time and she was 32. And then he created a trust and he put that baby as the beneficiary of the trust. So when you get rich, you're not just like, hey, I'm going to give you this business and you can pay me. No, I don't see that. I don't really see that. If it's profitable. Now, if it's a business with a lot of issues, it's a business with a lot of problems, yeah, I think they'll sell that to you. But if it's a business that makes a lot of profit, I want you to think about this. Arthur Blank, who's like 83 or 86 years old, Jerry Jones, he's 80 something, Warren Buffett, 96, 97. These guys are incredibly old and they're incredibly active. Once you get to this rich life, it doesn't matter. Normal life doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't. Because Arthur Blank's wife is in her 50s, which means there's a 30-some year age gap. And you see this all over the place. I'm 60. I'll be 60 this year. My girlfriend will be 29. Once again, it ain't normal when you cross over to this side of the economics. It's just not normal. You can do stuff that other folks just literally be dreaming about. So hopefully you understand the power of a holding company. And one of the things that we're going to do, because like, I think about setting up a company to set up people's holding companies and stuff. And I don't really know how we're going to do that. I got to think about that. I really, really got to think about that, because if I was to set up their holding company and operating company and to educate them, because that's where the money is. Like setting up a holding company and an operating company, that may cost you $300. That's really cheap. But the knowledge and the wisdom, how to set up your corporate banking, all this other stuff, that's where the money's going to be. So I got to figure out how I'm going to price this and how I'm going to set this up. So that's something else that'll be coming to the pipeline. All right, so let me know your thoughts and opinions on this holding company concept, which I think is insane, which you can create all of these cash flowing businesses. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.